In yesterday's video, I went over that Diamond Dynasty blog, and I had a lot of complaints, a lot of negativity overall in that video. So this one specifically, I'm only focused on the good news from that Diamond Dynasty blog, at least in my opinion. In the comments, I want to see, what do you agree with? What did I miss that you also think is good news? Let's hear what you're excited about. Let's be positive in today's comment section and see what you're looking forward to for Diamond Dynasty and MLB The Show 24. And I'm about to talk about what I'm looking forward to from DD here in MLB The Show 24. So number one, the first thing I want to talk about is the power creep seems to be back. They're bringing back that familiar feeling of going from lower to high rated cards as the year goes on, or in this case, as the 12-week season goes on. They mentioned that at the launch of the game, and I would assume each season is going to be similar, the highest overall available is going to be 91 overall at launch, with one exception, and that one exception is the live series collection reward, that sweet 99 overall core card, so it's going to be able to be used in any season. It wouldn't just be season one. The second piece of good news to me is that each season is going to be about 12 weeks, 3 months long. In MLB 23, the seasons were all different lengths. Some were really short, some were really long, and I like the idea, at least on paper, that each season is going to be about the same amount of time. And it sounds like on paper 12 weeks is going to be a good amount to be able to go from building teams with silver and golds and then progressing your way up towards the end of the season when they actually start releasing those high 90 overalls, towards the end of the season when they start releasing those 99s. 12 weeks, 3 months. It seems like a long time, but it also seems like a good amount of time for each season being the same length. The third thing I want to talk about, I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit from yesterday, but to me on paper, it sounds like a good idea if they're taking the season approach, that any cards no longer in season can only be used in that wild card slot. So instead of season 1 cards also being able to be used in season 2, but not season 3 as it was last year, instead it's just, hey, if it's season 2, you can't use a season 1 card. I think that's a good change when it comes to them keeping seasons in the game, and that actually leads me to number 4. And with the new approach to seasons for 24 compared to 23, I think you're going to be seeing live series cards for the first time ever actually viable in MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty. And every other year, because the power creep when they haven't had seasons, you're not seeing anybody use live series cards 3-4 months into the game. But 3-4 months into the game, season 2 is going to just be starting, and with season 1 cards no longer being available unless you're using a wild card, then you're going to see more people going back to, yeah, maybe some silver and golds, but especially the Diamond Live Series players. I might be using guys like Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, you name it, those high overall Live Series Diamonds. You're actually going to be seeing people using them year round rather than just the first few weeks, first month or so of the game. And I like that change. If they're sticking with the season approach, it's cool to me that you're probably going to be seeing people using live series cards potentially the entire year and not just that first month of the game. So with seasons still being a thing, I think that's really cool that live series cards might actually be viable the entire year. The next thing I want to talk about, pretty sure we're on number 5. The numbers really don't matter, but it's a small thing, but I do like that every year we continue to see new card art. I like the look of this Vlad Jr. That's going to be a core collection to start the year. Only 91 overall. I'm glad it's not like a 98, 99 to start the year. We see a Joe Mauer with a very similar card art. Maybe that's revamped face of the franchise, but some new card art as well. The brand new Cornerstone captain cards. I would love it if all of the captain cards, I'm not sure if it's just these cornerstones or what, but I got kind of tired of the captain card art by the end of the year last year, so I like seeing some different designs. I'm really liking the look of these cornerstones, and I think that's something MLB The Show does good every single year, is bringing us fresh card art. I also like, though, that they do bring back card art from previous years. I think it's nice when it's not overdone. The Takashi Okazaki was one of my all-time favorite card arts they had. They didn't bring it back last year. It's nice to see it back this year. but I'm glad that we're not only seeing old card art brought back. I'm glad that they give us some new card arts as well. The next thing I want to talk about kind of builds on the seasons being 12 weeks, about 3 months long. And the good news for me about this is, I guess every 3 months, every 12 weeks, it's almost like we're getting a brand new game in a way, because once the new season starts, it's pretty much like we're starting over. Yeah, we're going to have some wild cards. There's going to be some core cards. But for the most part, we're going back down to the beginning of the power creep. So in a way, it's like we're going to get 3 or 4 different Diamond Dynasties in one, or at least they're kind of starting the year over. So that sounds like on paper it could be fun. The one thing I'm worried about, and this is just like a precaution, last year, I know a lot of people felt like some of the grinds, some of the programs were way too grindy, and that it was easy to fall behind because with people having real lives outside of the video game, sometimes it was just way too time consuming to get the content. So as long as the season is paced well, as long as the programs, the content are not too grindy, this could be really interesting, having almost a restart to Diamond Dynasty every 3 months. They've never done something exactly like this, and on paper it's gonna just take a true test of actually playing, seeing how it is. But on paper, this could end up being really fun, and after thinking about it some more, this is really a brand new approach. We haven't had something exactly like this for Diamond Dynasty. But again, I know that the average player of this game doesn't want to have to spend hours and hours every single day just to feel like they're caught up on the content. So I think it's really going to come down to how much time, how much work does it actually take to earn the cards you want. The next bit of good news to me are sellable rewards, and that's under the same bullet point as free packs. Now, they specifically mention ranked programs featuring sellable rewards. I'm interested to see Battle Royale events. Are those going to be sellable too? Is it only ranked programs? But the more sellable rewards, regardless of, for me, if it's online, I also think Team Affinity too, but I think the more sellable rewards, the better. I also think giving free packs, free items to the players on a weekly basis, on paper, it sounds like it's a good idea. I just don't want packs to be worthless. It almost seems like as the years have gone on, packs just kind of feel less and less special to me each year. And for MLB 24, I'm hoping that packs are a little bit more exciting for the entire year than they were for MLB 23. And kind of piggybacking what we talked about just a little bit ago about as long as it's not too grindy, I love seeing that events are 2 weeks long instead of just 1 week. The 1 week felt way too fast. With them being 2 weeks long, this gives the average player, this gives myself, even though I play way more than the average player, it gives me plenty of time to grind out the event, but also focus on the other content. Team Affinity, ranked seasons, mini seasons, Battle Royale, whatever else there is. With the events being 2 weeks instead of just 1, I don't feel like I'm forced to play that event and grind out those wins. I really like this change. And speaking of changes that I really like, Battle Royale Flawless is now 10-0 instead of 12-0. On paper, I keep saying that, and that's pretty much just me saying, hey, reading about this, it sounds good, but the true test is going to be once the game comes out, once we've actually played it, how does the change feel then? But on paper, I love the change of Flawless being 10-0 instead of 12-0. 10-0 is still very hard to do, especially in Battle Royale, those 3-inning games. And as long as this does not completely tank the value of Flawless rewards, as long as there is still value in getting that 10-0 Flawless instead of it being 12-0, I really, really like this change. The next piece of information that I like that I saw was kind of spread throughout the blog post, but basically they really seem like from the beginning of the year, rather than changing this as the year goes on, they want people to be able to play whatever modes they want, whether it's online or offline, and still be able to earn progress. In a multiplayer mode, I like the sound of the online modes having the opportunity to earn the higher rated rewards at first, but then if you prefer single player modes as the season goes on, you'll still have chances to earn those better rewards as the season goes on. And another bit of good news for me, since the seasons are going to be 3 months, 12 weeks long, I like that we have multiple chapters for Team Affinity because this guarantees at least 3 new cards for every single team. No matter what MLB team you're a fan of, you can expect at least 3 diamond cards every season for your team just through Team Affinity, and I like that they're giving all the teams extra love by having extra bits of Team Affinity being released. And like I said, just throughout this blog post, they mentioned it, that it really seems like you're going to be able to choose your own path, play whatever modes you want, and still be able to work your way through the content. You're not forced to play online or offline to earn progress in the programs, Team Affinity, whatever it may be. Obviously, something like BR Ranked Seasons, where that's only an online mode, you're probably going to have to play Ranked Seasons if you want the ranked rewards. But for other programs, for Team Affinity, I really like the sound of being able to play online, offline, whatever modes you want to be able to earn progress. And piggybacking off of that, the more repeatable missions, the more vouchers from doing things repeatedly in any mode, the better. I love that those vouchers, those repeatable missions are going to be in the game from day one and not something they add more than halfway through the year. And this is what I'm talking about though. It really seems like from the beginning of the year, not mid-year, anything like that, from the beginning of the year, they really want us to be able to play our way to earn progress, and I am loving the sound of that. And I think we have a pretty good idea of who this blurred special new card is going to be. It looks like it should be Willie Mays, potentially a new Cooperstown, a new Hall of Fame card series. Maybe this will even be, I'm hoping, a Season 1 card. Maybe this will be one of the collections for Season 1. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but does anyone else agree that this is probably Willie Mays?